Hello, everyone. I'm Frank, and welcome to episode 22 of Learn How to Sudoku, where we take very easy variant Sudoku puzzles and break them down into details so that you can learn how to Sudoku. And today's very easy puzzle is called Firecracker by Katie Splendor. And here are the rules. Normal Sudoku rules apply, which means place the digits 1 through 9 once each in every row, column, and box. Renban. Digits along a purple Renban line form a consecutive set, but do not have to be consecutive to their neighbors. Another way of putting this is that on each Renban line, there have to be a set of consecutive, non-repeating digits, which can be placed in any order along the line. So, for example, if you had a 1 here, you know that you would have to have a 2, a 3, and a 4 also on this line in some order. It doesn't matter what the order is, but you know you would have to have a 2, 3, and 4 because 1 is only in a continuous set with other consecutive numbers for 4 digits with 1, 2, 3, and 4, right? If you try to add 5 there, it wouldn't work, right? What set could you have? 1, 2, 3, 5? That's not consecutive. So that's why, yeah, that's why you know specifically if you have a certain digit in a consecutive group, right? Because they have to be consecutive with another member of the group. And if you had a 1 with a 5, it couldn't be, right? So that's why you know specifically if you have a 1, you would have to have a 2, 3, and a 4, because that's the only set that works that has a 1 in it. That's consecutive. And that's how Renban lines work. German whispers. Each digit along a green German whisper line must differ in value by at least 5 from its neighbor. So for example, if this were a 3, this would have to be an 8 or a 9 because adjacent digits along a German whisper line must differ by at least 5. And that's how German whisper lines work. Killer cage. Each digit inside a killer cage must be distinct. Okay. The digits inside a cage add up to the value shown in the upper left corner of the cage. And we only have one cage, so basically the value of the digits in the cage must add up to 40. XV sum. Digits separated by an X sum to 10. Digits separated by a V sum to 5. No negative constraints. So, for example, if this were a 3, this would have to be a 7 because the X separates two digits that add up to 10. And we know 3 and 7 are the only digits. If you have a 3, 7 is the only digit that adds up to 10 with it. Similarly, for the V, if this were 2, this would have to be 3 because you have to have two digits that add up to 5 if they're separated by a V. Kropki dots. Digits separated by a black Kropki dot have a value of 1 to 2. Digits separated by a white Kropki dot have a difference in value of 1, or they're consecutive, another way of putting it. No negative constraints. So, for example, if this digit were a 3, actually, make it 2. If this digit were 2, it would have to be next to a 1 or a 4 to maintain the 1 to 2 ratio. But if this digit were a 2, this would be 1 or 3 because the white Kropki dot signifies that they have to be consecutive or have a difference in value of 1. And those are all the rules. If you want to play along, there's going to be a link in the description. And now, I'm going to get started. Let's learn how to Sudoku. Okay, so first things first, we have in box 5, and we label the boxes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 because they are in the typical Western reading notation from top to bottom and from left to right. So that's how we typically number the boxes so that we can it's just convention so that we can actually figure out what we're talking about. So in box 5, we have 8 digits in the box adding up to 40, which means the last digit in the box must be 5 because it's 45 minus 40. Because 9 digits, the 9 digits in Sudoku have to add up to 45 because it's 1 through 9, right? And if you add them up, you'll get 45. So therefore, 45 minus 40 must be 5. So the remaining digit in box 5 that's not in the cage must be a 5. So this has to be 5, which is consecutive only with 4 and 6. So this is 4 and 6, and this is 4 and 6. We know that this digit can only be in a 1 to 2 ratio with another digit. And this digit is a 1 to 2 ratio with another digit. But neither of these can be, well, they could be 3. So what are the possibilities? This has to be 1, 2, 3, or 8. And this is 1, 2, 3, or 8. Now, to add up to 10, what are the digits in the other cells have to be? It has to be 9, 8, 7, and 2. And this is 9, 8, 7, and 2. 4 and 6 are in a 1 to 2 ratio. 4 could be with 2 to 8, and 6 could be with 3. So this is also 2, 3, or 8. And we know 3 has to be one of these two cells anyways. For an 8 length ring band, you know you have 1, 2, it's either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1 through 8, or it's 2 through 9. So in this case, either way, you have to have a 1 or a 9 specifically, right? Because 2 through 8 is always going to be on the Ren band. Whether it's 1 through 8 or 2 through 9, 2 through 8 is always going to be on the Ren band because those are consecutive. So similarly here, this has to be 1 or 9. And 1 or 9 only adds up to 10 with 1 or 9. So this is 1 or 9, and this is 1 or 9. Therefore, this cannot be 1 and 9 because that would eliminate all possibilities for this cell. And this cannot be 1 and 9 because that would eliminate all possibilities for that cell. So this can never be 1, which means this can't be 9. This can't be 1, which means that can't be 9. So now we have a 2, 3, 7, 8 quadruple in box 5, which means 4 cells have to contain specifically 4 digits. Because of that, if you tried to use that digit elsewhere in the box, you would only then have 3 digits available to populate 4 cells, which obviously leads to a problem. So therefore, because of that, we know the rest of the box cannot contain those 4 digits, which would be 2, 3, 7, and 8. And we also have a 4, 6 pair. And earlier, when I was detailing what these digits could be, I automatically eliminated 4 and 6 because there was a 4, 6 pair. And you have a similar thing, right? You have 2 cells which require 2 specific digits. If you try to use one of those cells in the box, the problem, or in essentially the row, you would have a problem because then you would eliminate one possibility for those 2 cells, and therefore both of those 2 cells would require essentially that one possibility to be in both of those cells, which would break Sudoku rules. So now we know in box 5, the rest of the box must contain 1 and 9. So this must be 1 or 9, and this must be 1 or 9. Let's see, what else do we have? Again, similarly to in box 2 and box 8, we have Ren bands that are 8 in length. So it must be, again, 1 through 8 or 2 through 9, which means the last cell in that, which cannot be on the Ren band, has to be either 1 or 9. So this is 1 or 9, and this is 1 or 9. They are in a 1 to 2 ratio with, or sorry, not 1 to 2 ratio. They add up to 10 with only 1 or 9. So this must be 1 or 9, and this must be 1 or 9. Um, we have two cells that add up to 5. Anytime you have two cells that add up to 5 and that are unique, it must be 1 or 4 or 2 or 3. But since we have a 1919 pair in column 2, this cannot be 1 or 9. So this can't be 1, which means this can't be 4. We also now have a 1919 pair in row 2, which eliminates 1 and 9 from the rest of the row. So this cannot be 1 and 4. This has to be 2 and 3. 2 and 3 is consecutive, though, with 1 or 4. And it cannot be with 2. It could also be 2 or 3 technically, but we know that this is a 2, 3, 2, 3 pair, which eliminates 2 and 3 from the rest of the cells in row 2. So this cannot be 2 or 3. It cannot be 1 because of the 1, 9 pair, so it must be 4. So this has to be 4, which is only consecutive with 3 out of 2 and 3, which makes this a 2 to add up to 5. So 3 can only be next to 8 and 9 on a German whisper line. So this is 8 or 9, and this is 8 or 9. But 9 can never be next to a black Kropke dot, because 9 is not double anything, any digit. And if you double 9, that gives you 18, which is not a normal Sudoku digit. So this must be an 8, which makes this a 9. Since this is 8, this is in 1 to 2 relationship only with the digit 4. So this is a 4. Let's see. We have a 4 here. We have a 4 here. These digits are consecutive. And also, this cannot be 1, 2, 3, or 4, right? 1 because of the 1, 9 pair, and then 2, 3, or 4 because they're already in the row. You can never have a 5 along a German whisper line in normal Sudoku rules, because 5 is 5 away from 0 and below, which is not a normal Sudoku digit, and it's also 5 away from 10 and above, which are obviously not digits. So 5 can never be on a German whisper line normally. So therefore, this can't be 1, it can't be 9, it can't be 2, 3, or 4. This must be 6, 7, or 8 because it cannot be 5. So along a German whisper line, what you know is that it will alternate between the sets 1 through 4 and then 6 through 9. And then it'll also go again and go continuously between 1 through 4 and 6 through 9. The reason you know that is if you have a digit from 1 through 4, what is the smallest number that can be next to it? Well, you could have 1 plus 5, which would mean that 6 is the smallest number possible because 1 is the smallest number out of 1 through 4. And therefore 6 and 9 have to be 6 above have to be next to it, which means 6 through 9. Now if you take 6 through 9 and ask what's the largest number that could be next to that digit, it has to be 9, which is the largest digit, minus 5, which would be 4 and below then. So 4 is the largest digit that could be next to a 6 through 9, and then you could have 1 through 4 then next to the 6 through 9. So again, you always alternate between the 1 through 4s and then the 6 through 9s. And I usually like calling them high and lows. Well, this value has to specifically be 6 through 9, right? So this has to be a high, which means the digits next to it on a German whisper line must be low. So these two are low, which means this is a high, this is a high, and this has to be low then, because it alternates again. So this one has to be a 1, because that's the only one from 1 through 4, and this has to be a 9, which makes this a 1, which makes that a 9. Again, this has to be a low then. This has to be high. This is low. This is high. This is low. And this is high. So this has to be a 9, which makes that a 1. Also makes that a 1. This has to be a 9. This is 6, 7, or 8, which could be consecutive with 5, 6, 7, or 8. We're not sure which one. If you have a 2 here, it could technically be with a 1 or a 4, but 1 is not possible because we already have the 1 here. This can't be a 1 anymore either, so this must be a 9, which makes this a 1. So this cannot be next to 1, but it could be next to 4 if this was 2. If this is 3, it would be next to a 6 because it maintains a 1 to 2 ratio. If this was 8, it would have to be with a 4. So similarly here, this would be 4 or 6 also. Okay. Now here we have a 1 to 2 ratio. The only ones that would work would be obviously 1 and 2, but that's not allowed because we already have a 2 on the column. 2 and 4, but we have both 2 and 4 in the column, and 4 and 8, where we have both 4 and 8 on a column. The only one left now is 3 and 6, so this has to be a 3-6 pair. Now for a Renban, what can you form that's consecutive for 4 digits? Well, 3 and 6, you can only add up 4 and 5 with it, right? If you try to add up any other digit, that wouldn't work because you don't have consecutive values then. So therefore, this has to be 4 and 5. So for the low digits, you cannot have 3 or 4 because we have a 3-6 pair in box 7 and a 4-5 pair in box 7, which eliminates 3, 4, 5, and 6 from the rest of the box. And we have a 1 here, which sees that cell, so this can't be 1 either. Therefore, this must be a 2. 2 can be next to 7, 8, or 9 on a German whisper line, but it can't be 9 because we have a 9 there. So this is 7 or 8. This again, this cannot be 1 or 9. So these two digits cannot be 1 and 9, adding up to 10, because this cannot be either. This could be 2 and 8. It could be 3 and 7 here. 4 and 6 is not allowed because 4 and 6 is not allowed in box 7 because we have a 3-6 pair and a 4-5 pair, which eliminates 3, 4, 5, and 6 from the rest of the box. So this can't contain a 4 or 6, therefore 4 and 6 is not possible as a possibility for these two cells. Now we have a 7, 8, 7, 8 pair in box 7 too. So therefore that eliminates 7 and 8 from the rest of the box, which means we can only have 1 and 9 left in the box. This cannot be 9, therefore this is a 1, which makes that a 9. This can't be 2. That doesn't really tell us very much. Let's see. This is in a 1 to 2 ratio. And we know it cannot be 1, 2, but it could be 2, 4. It could be 3, 6, or it could be 4, 8. We don't know. Now, 6 can never be between two unique numbers on a German whisper line, right? Because it can only be next to one unique digit on a German whisper line, which would be 1, right? Because 6 is only 5 away from 1 among the normal digits. So this can never be 6. This could be 3, 4, 8. So if this is 3, it would have to be with 4. If it's 4, it would have to be with 3 or 5, and if it's 8, it would have to be with 7 because we already have a 9 there. So this is 3, 4, 8. The 3 can be with the 6, but this can never be 3 because that would have to be with the 6 again in a 1 to 2 ratio. 4 and 8 still leaves these fine, so that's fine. Where is the 1 in column 1? Can't be any of these. Can't be here. So this must be a 1. This is 1. We have 5, 6, and 7 left. So this is 5, 6, or 7. And these are 5, 6, or 7. What about the remaining cells in column 1? It has to be 5 and 7. And this can't be 5. Therefore, this is a 7, which makes that a 5. This last digit in row 5 has to be a 2, 3, or 8 because we are already eliminated 4 and 6 because of the 4, 6 pair. 5, 1, 7, and 9 are already there. This cannot be 3 though because we know one of these is 3 to be next to a 6. So this is specifically 2 or 8. Okay. This has to be a low, which means it's 2 or 3. We have... It cannot be 3, therefore this must be 2. We do have a 4, 5, 4, 5 pair in column 2, which eliminates 4 and 5 from the rest of the column. So this cannot be 5, that cannot be 5, and this can't be 5, which means in box 1, where is the 5? It has to be in this cell. And in addition, we have a 6, 7, 6, 7 pair in column 2, which eliminates 6 and 7 from the rest of the column. Therefore, this can't be 7. This has to be an 8 then, which forces this to be a 7, which must add up with 3 to add up to 10. So this is a 3, which means this can't be 3, so this is 6, which makes that a 3. This can no longer contain a 3, so this can't be 3. If you have a 4, it must be next to 5. If you have an 8, it must be next to 7, and 4 is no longer valid here because that would have to be next to a 3 here. So this is 4, 8. Oh, also, this can't be 4 because of the same reason it couldn't be 6, right? If it's 4, it can only be next to one unique digit on the German whisper line, and that's 9. So therefore, this can't be 4, this must be 8, which means this must be 7. 8 is in a 1-to-2 ratio only with 4, so this is 4. This cannot be 4, so this is 5, which makes that a 4. This can't be 8. What else do we have here? This must be 6 or 7. It cannot be 6 because that would be next to two unique numbers on a German whisper line, and that's not possible. So this must be a 7, which makes this has to be a 2 because we already have a 1 here. So this can no longer be 7. This can no longer be 6 because 2 can never be next to a 6 on a German whisper line. Therefore, for these consecutive digits, what can it be? It has to be specifically 6 and 7 because 8 cannot be next to 5 or 6. It's not consecutive with 5 or 6, and 5 cannot be next consecutive with 7 or 8. Therefore, this is 7. This is a 7, and therefore this is a 6. This is 6 now, which has to be consecutive with the rest of the cells on the Ren band. Well, 7 is already taken out, so this cannot be with 7, so it has to be going down. It has to be 6, 5, 4, and 3 to be consecutive. So this has to be 3, 4, and 5 in some order. And this one cannot be 4. This can't be 3 or 4, so this must be 5, which means this can't be 5, so this is 3, which means this is a 4. Let's see, we have 2 digits here adding up to 10. It cannot be 1 or 9 because those are already there. It can't be 3, 7 because the 3 is here on the row. And it can't be 4 and 6 because the 4 is on the row. Therefore, it must be 2 and 8. Well, this can't be 2, therefore this must be 8, which makes this a 2. So this is no longer possible to be a 2, which means this can't be an 8. Let's see, what else do we have? Where is the 5 in row 1? It cannot be this cell. Can't be this cell because of that 5. Therefore, it must be here. So this is a 5. This has to be 6 or 7. But we have a 4, 6, 4, 6 pair in column 5, which eliminates 4 and 6 from the rest of the column. Therefore, this must be a 7, which makes this a 6, which makes this a 7. And then we have a 1, 9 here, because that's all the digits left. This has to be an 8 because it's the only digit left, so this cannot be 8, which means this can't be 2. One of these digits must be a 3, because those are the only possibilities now for 3 in box 5. Therefore, this can no longer be, well, it couldn't be 3 anyways. Can't be 1, can't be 4 or 6 because of the 4, 6 pair. Can't be 7, 5, 7, or 9. So this has to be also 2 or 8. What do we have left? This can't be 8. That's fine. Because of this 8. This has to be 3, 4, 6. And this is also 3, 4, 6, but this can't be 3 because of this 3. Therefore, we have a 4, 6, 4, 6 pair now in row 3, which eliminates 4 and 6 from the rest of the cells in the row, which means this has to be a 3. What do these have to be? 8 can only be next to a 1, 2, or 3 on the German whisper line. So this is 1, 2, or 3. This is 1, 2, or 3. Obviously, this can't be 3 because of that 3, and this can't be 1 because of that 1. What else do we have here? This has to be 3, 6, or 8. And this is 3, 6, or 8. Oh, also this is a 2, which means this can't be 2. So this must be 3, which means this must be 7 to add up to 10 with it. This can no longer be 3. This must be an 8, so this must be 2. 8 is in a 1 to 2 ratio with 4 only, so this is a 4, which makes that 6. This can't be 4 because 3 is in a 1 to 2 ratio with 6, so this has to be 6. And this can no longer be 8, so it's 2. It's not 8, it's 2. Therefore, that's a 1. We still don't know what that is. That could be 2 or 3. This cannot be 6, so this is 4, which makes that a 6. 4 is in a 1 to 2 ratio with 8, so this is 8. 6 is in a 1 to 2 ratio with 3, so that's a 3. This can no longer be 8, so this is a 2, which means this can't be 2, so this is a 3. And now we just do Sudoku. So this can't be 1, so this is a 9, this is a 1. This can't be 8, and this can't be 3 or 8, so this is a 6. That makes that a 3. The only digit remaining here is a 7, so this is 7. We have 4, 5, and 8 here, but this can't be 4 or 8, so this must be 5. This can't be 8, so this must be 4, which makes that an 8. The only digit remaining here is a 9. We have 2 and 5 here, but this can't be 2, so therefore this must be 5. That must be 2. This has to be a 6. What's remaining here is 6 and 8, but this can't be 8, so this is 6, which makes that 8. The only ones remaining here is 4, and this has to be a 5. And that's how you learn. That's how you do this puzzle. Yeah, pretty straightforward. It uses a lot of very common clues that are given in variant Sudokus. Renban is a pretty popular one. German Whisper is also very popular. Killer Cages, also very popular. Yeah, all of them are actually very popular. XV Sum, Kropke Dots are all very common variant Sudoku rule sets. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Learn How to Sudoku. And I'll see you next time on Frank Puzzles. Take care.